You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Harry's assassination ordered. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Information has been placed on the Reddit thread, St. Harry's wife. They use her full name, as you know. I don't. And a post by What Does the Fox Say reports on the fact that Al-Qaeda has ordered the assassination of Prince Harry for killing 25 Afghans. The article in which this is reported was Spanish and goes by the name of Eos. And it reports on the ordering of this assassination. What Does the Fox Say has put this through Google Translate, and this is what Google Translate has to state that the article details. Al-Qaeda, in its One Unma magazine number 8, published today, asks its terrorists in a kind of binding fatwa to take just revenge on Prince Harry, whom they refer to as Al-Zanim, for having recognized that, during his participation in the war in Afghanistan within the international coalition, he killed 25 Afghans. According to the aforementioned magazine, to which L'Azan has had access, Al-Qaeda considers that it would be an opportunity for the British Crown to take revenge on its dissident son by reducing the cost of insuring him, and to make way for Islamic hands to let them be the ones who take their just retribution, since crimes do not fall by statute of limitations, and the right men run after him, and praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds. So essentially they seem to be suggesting, hang him out to dry and we'll take care of the rest. The article continues, they complained that the Western media only paid attention to the sexual aspects of their controversial memoirs, as if the blood of the Afghans had no respect in this arrogant mentality. And even Al-Zanim himself, i.e. Harry, has referred with racism inherent to this type of human being. According to the translation obtained by this newspaper, the Spanish one, from the Arabic version of the aforementioned magazine. The jihadists make a story in which they come to justify what Harry has done with his memories against the crown, by considering that the death of his mother, Princess Diana, was a murder. They even underline that the criticism he has received from the British media has been for the attacks on the crown, and not, as they understand, for his criminality in Afghanistan. They affirm that the Afghans killed by Harry, Al-Zanim, should receive compensation through the United Nations and the Geneva Conventions, something they consider impossible due to the arrogance of Westerners and because the feeling of the racist Englishman is above the humans. The others are just pawns and chess pieces that the English can remove from the face of the earth whenever they want, and want bloodshed. Prince Al-Zanim's confession that he killed 25 Afghan Muslims in cold blood, and that they were only chess pieces in his eyes, reveals to us the amount of condescension, discrimination, and love of crime in the genes of this human component they emphasize about Harry. They stress that, after the death of his mother Diana, he believed that the palace participated in her murder, which caused him to become addicted to drugs after his mother's assassination, which Al-Qaeda takes for granted. His father, the king, didn't care about him at all, and perhaps this is because the king doubts his lineage towards him, and does not consider him his son by crucifixion and descent. This fallen royal family and King Charles, a descendant of the leaders of the Crusades throughout history, were not the biggest losers from publishing these scandals to the public. The arrogant English mentality and all of European civilization is the biggest loser for what it revealed. Remember that his book is the best-selling book in the world within the category of realistic text, because he published the laundering of the British crown and revealed what is happening in the English palace of scandals and ugliness. In what terrorists described as the worst crisis experienced by the royal family in the United Kingdom in the last 30 years, we're not interested here in persecuting and narrating these scandals and ugliness, and we will never run into the orbit of the press. The essence of what was revealed by the dialogue meetings and the memories of Zanim Harry is a level of the English mentality transcendent to humanity. It is a mentality that believes that it is above morality, law, and international conventions. In the animal fall of his family and relatives in London, the world knows that the British Crown is part of the ape civilization, caring only for their sexual whims, and that the royal family is a fallen family within a bestial English society and not worthy of respect and appreciation at all, and that what Prince Harry revealed are manifestations and reversals of the miserable standard of degenerate British life and the very complex royal upbringing, so that his memoirs were a reflection of the reality of decadence. So, the flowery pronouncement there of Al-Qaeda condemning the royal family and Western civilization generally, but apparently ordering the execution of Prince Harry. This, of course, is not something that would be taken lightly, and essentially what he has now done is place not only himself in danger, but his immediate family and anybody else that comes into contact with him. It'll be interesting to see to what extent the royal family, suitably advised by the security forces, take this into consideration vis-à-vis his attendance at the king's coronation. It would seem to me that you would be better off telling him, "You should not come. You are a significant security risk." Furthermore, one wonders what other attendees at the coronation, heads of state, crown princes, etc., whether they might think to themselves, if there is a heightened risk of an attack upon Prince Harry, in the circumstances, do I really want to be there, notwithstanding the significant security presence that will be there? How will Harry's wife be regarding this? Well, she might not know about this threat, and therefore the simple answer is she wouldn't respond. But it's likely that it will come to her attention as a consequence of the scrutiny of the media and press, and it may well be that their own security advisors pick up upon this and advise them of it. Her reaction, of course, will be to play scared, and of course she does experience fear. She is not so cold-blooded as not to experience anxiety and fear. Of course, Harry's going to get the blame. Because there is a threat to her life as well, because by extension she's his wife, she is going to turn to Harry and blame him. "Look what you've done. I told you not to put that in the book." Of course, that's likely to be a revision of history, because she will have supported its inclusion. Harry will protest his innocence. "But you told me to put that in there. You've read the book. You signed it off with me." She will, of course, deny that. "I don't recall seeing that. I would have never agreed to you including something like that, because that would cause a risk to me and the children. I would never have sanctioned that. I would never have agreed to it." Of course, demonstrating the compartmentalization and the revision of history that she engages in as a narcissist, she would have sanctioned it, because at the time she would have thought that that would make him look heroic and would make him look like a steely-eyed dealer of death, which might make him more amenable to certain people and increase their popularity. Because, of course, she doesn't care about the people that were killed. She has no interest in them at all. However, when there is a threat to her control, i.e. a threat to her life as a consequence of this ordered execution, this assassination, then naturally it can't be her fault. It has to be somebody else's, and the simplest thing for her to do in order to nullify the threat to control on being told about this is to simply state, "You've done this. You've brought our family into danger. You're an idiot." It's likely, when the inevitable divorce occurs, that this will be cited against him, that he had no due regard for her safety and that of the children, and wrote about killing them, and did so in a cold and calculated manner, which is the type of man that he is. And to do so, to portray him by smearing him and showing him in a particular light, and to use this against him, as I've mentioned elsewhere, there'll be many things from his book that'll be thrown back in his face. There will, of course, be an attempt to utilise this as a means for getting increased security and for it to be paid for. Undoubtedly, Harry's wife will probably go running back to Gordon Getty so that she can say, we need an even bigger house and with improved security as a consequence now. I told you this would happen. Please help us. And the possibility also of ordering Harry to speak to his father to obtain further funding as a consequence of the necessity of some form of defence. Harry's wife will use this as part of a massive pity play towards anybody that will listen, and particularly with regard to asserting control over them, but the residual benefit of getting increased security and having it paid for. Because, of course, as a freeloading narcissist, she wants everybody else's money to pay for her lifestyle. In the meanwhile, Harry will be the one that's blamed for bringing this problem to their door, notwithstanding the fact, of course, that she will have agreed to its inclusion in the first place. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.